And we're back again. So this time I'm going to be putting the pseudo rings, you'll understand what I mean when we get there, around the entire, the four stand, the legs here, whatever you want to call it. This is our guide. I also ran into a very slight issue. So I watched back the footage and realized I got myself off somewhere up in there. And so I corrected it, and then I made the other 3, 4, whatever. Fixed everything appropriately. But then I realized something. So for making the sphere, I'm going to sort of improvise a bit. So if you think about a sphere, there are multiple dimensions that we're working with. And by dimension, I mean real world, actual dimensions, as in 3-dimensional. So we've got our length, we've got our width. So now we're going to do depth. And it's going to be a ring, much similar to that. And so imagine a sphere, instead of it being just a circle, imagine it being a circle in all 3 dimensions, upward, down, and backward and forward. So it's sort of like something like that, I guess. And that's really hard to adequately show in a perfectly flat environment. But you get the idea. This is basically what we'll be doing. We'll just be doing... So instead of this being a side view, this is a top-down view. So if we were at the very top up there, that's this view that we're looking at here. And I laid out a small skeleton earlier just to see what it would look like, because I suspected that these tips of, this is sort of like a flower, so the tips of the petals, or whatever you want to call them here, I suspected these tips would be outside the bounds of this of the dome, and sure enough, they are. I think it intersects, like right here. This little segment is not going to add up. But another thing I found, in addition to that, when I was making this 1/8, if you recall, instead of making it 4 blocks long, I made it a 5th block. And so these arches take that 5th block, I think it's like this one right here. Yeah, that block right there the cursor's on. So I added that. As it turns out, that's not going to add up here. So what I mean is we'll break it out, or break it down block by block. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm just going to come in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because it will intersect. And then after the 5, it's 2 sets of 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then it's 4 sets of 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Connect that all up. And then after the 4, it's 1, 2, 3 sets of 1. 1, 2, 3. And then we're getting close to the center. And then 2 going outward. 1, 2. And then this is normally where it would be 5 sets of 1. And then we have the perfect diagonal. But it's not. It's going to be 4 sets of 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we'll need 1 out here to meet up. So then it's 2, and so on. So as you can plainly tell, this is the perfect diagonal, not... So there's no 5th block that would occupy on right here. There's no 5th block right here. It's only 4, and then we have our exact center. But that's because I took the initial diameter of this upper area, and then I artificially added that extra 5th block on there that I, in retrospect, probably shouldn't have done, because by the time I got all the way up, and it's hard to see, the beacon beams are in the way. By the time I got up to there, that 6th block began to overlap with the other 3 arches. And so I just omitted that center block because that's going to be the way up, going up to the higher levels. And the problem with that is, I'm not going to be able to do that with this. So I'm just going to not worry about adding that artificial 5th block here. And I'm not going to dismantle that and then lower it by 1 block and then fix it up here. You're not going to notice. It's a minor detail. It shouldn't conflict with anything. And so I'm going to build up this 1/4 segment all the way up to the top as a good demonstration, so that if something were to arise in the building of this, I'm not doing the entire thing. I can fix the problem that I know I added on to, and then go from there, and hopefully it'll all add up and be right. But I'm thinking it'll still add up and be right anyway. It'll just be slightly different from... It's just a very, very slight deviation from the plan here. But ultimately, it won't matter. And your eye isn't going to be able to see it, so no one's going to care. So that'll just be a little secret between us. A happy little oversight. Okay, so we got 3 sets of 1, and then 4 sets of 2, and then 4 sets of 2, 2 sets of 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 5, if I'm not mistaken. This looks... No, that's right, okay. And then a 5, and then 6. And that gives us our guideline. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go 1 over this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it adds up. Okay. This is going to be a pain in the ass to keep right. That isn't going to be fun. Oh, and I'm also going to continue the stair pattern up and over, same with the slabs, as I go around the edge here. This is, funnily enough, this is kind of a similar process to how spiders build webs. So you're going to see that too. The only annoyance is this connector block here that I have here, because I don't have that accounted for in here. And I don't have that accounted for in the gradual upper thing, because we don't have sideways stairs or slabs. That would be amazing if we did. And so I don't have an easy way to smooth that out, so I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this connector block. I'm not, because I don't think it's necessary. It was necessary to build, but not necessary, like, going up. I'm going to have the base blocks here anyway, and I should probably keep it bright. And keep it daytime so that I'm not screwed with mobs spawning everywhere. Been very good about keeping those bastards at bay. An errant creeper is all it takes to have your day be ruined. Especially since I'm not wearing anything with blast on it. So yeah. Okay. Oh, that's right. You can go 3 by crouching. I've also been doing off-camera. I guess I'll just show this bit real fast. The villagers. I haven't really been keeping up with villagers. Oh, damn it. Thought for sure that would sail in there. The villager ring up at the top of this room. Iron golems are out in force though. Over here. I've finally gotten up enough of them, bred them, and so on. I'm gonna cage them all shortly. Not this episode. I'll just do that off camera. You all have seen me fumble with these bastards enough. And yeah, I'm gonna do that. Contain more of them. Get rid of the beds. Dissolve the village down here, because there's no reason for it. Kill the iron golems because they're in the way. And then I want to install a track up here. And I want to do something interesting. I saw a really, really cool vid about a week ago. How to infect a villager and zombify them from a distance. So no need to have an orgy of zombies. You can literally get them from a distance. Unfortunately, it involves me obtaining a mob that up until now I've never seen in this world. I've seen them before. Oh god, he got all the way up here. But we've never, I don't think anybody on here, oh, and shout out to Dark, he's been playing a lot lately. Nobody's on here, I think, has yet spotted one. It's one of the few mobs that hasn't really reared its ugly head. And normally you'll see them in a playthrough. But suspiciously absent they are. Of course, there's a very good reason for that. Now, as for the bits that don't exist under the dome, like right here, I'm going to have these tiny, tiny... I think I'm just going to turn these into, like, balconies. Just a very, very shallow balcony. Because I'm going to want an easy way up. Because you know me, I'm lazy. I like to fly from the upside, or the underside up to up here. I suppose I could fly through these areas. Although realistically, I'm probably more likely to just glass this over. I don't know. Because, I mean, this is a huge open area. Why wouldn't I deal with that? I don't know. It could be easy, like how beehives and stuff in real life will have sort of underside holes, you know, if it's like a beehive hanging from a tree. An underside entrance that a bee can fly up into. Maybe have like little side entrances like that. Or underside entrances like this. I don't know. We'll get to that. And then as for under there, I do actually think I want to put stairs on this level. That's gonna be a pain. I should have built that up first. At least for the bits that are hanging over the edge. Because like here, it's going to run into that edge very quickly. I guess that's not too bad. Then I've got more holes here I'm going to have to fill in. There we go. And then that matches out to there. Perfect. And now I have to meet these up. Yeah, I guess that'll work, but then this is kind of open. Yeah, I'm probably going to put glass here or something, just to keep it open, looking open without actually being open. Because especially this high up, I kind of like seeing down. I know like a view like this makes some people clench their anuses in like fear. But personally, like, I enjoy tall heights and views from tall heights. I don't really get acrophobia or things of that nature. So I'm really not concerned with it. Because I know some people would be like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And they'd panic and fall out of fear or something. Kind of glad I'm not one of them. Okay, and then I'm gonna merge it like a so. Oh, it just suddenly occurred to me. I don't think I finished my explanation of what a sphere is. So, you imagine a circle in all 3 dimensions, okay? And then it's also a circle in all 3 dimensions at all possible orientations. And so the way we'll do that in Minecraft is we've got our guides here, and then we're building, you know, that guide there. And so what we're going to do is we're going to just stack rings up on top of each other until we hit the next mark. So right there, and then we'll shrink in a block and then build that up, and then we'll shrink in more blocks and so on and so forth until we're building more flat than we are vertically. More horizontal than vertical. And yeah, that's kind of where the guesswork will come in. I'm going to have to put in more glass ceilings for these, but I've got a good idea what I want for the ceilings of these. But yeah, that's basically what a sphere is. It's a circle in 3 dimensions that occupies all possible orientations in 3 dimensions. Hope that's not too confusing. Oh, I had it like that. Ooh. There we go. So that's got to go there. So that's got to go like that. And that doesn't add up. Haha. And that's messed up too, of course. Of course it is. Of course it is. Okay. I think that did it. Whoops. Oh well. Kind of look at it this way. That works. I like that. Okay, problem solved for now. Okay. Insert complaint about feature of Minecraft here. Like, for example, I wish the day could be made longer artificially. I don't know, some sort of end-game weather or time manipulation device, something. Oh yeah, there was a concern comment of sorts on the previous video about there's a sphere and circle generator and stuff. Like just for the record, those sites aren't good. They're only okay. I'm not saying don't use them. I'm just saying beware. Having experience as to how to make stuff like this, as well as knowing how to manipulate circles, is part of the reason why I feel like I've gotten so good at building. Because it's not just, oh, well, here's a thing on a website, copy it, and then build it. That can be a bit of a crutch, is just, you know, this algorithm did it for you. You know, here you go. You don't have to think or do anything. And, you know, it's the same thing with Schematica. Like, everybody used to get really pissed about people building and stealing things using Schematica. And yeah, I'll admit that is a bit of a problem. But it's mostly the fact that it's mindless. You don't have to think about what you're doing. You don't have to consider, you know, anything. You don't have to worry about anything. You just do it. You just get the materials and you build it. And a lot of those websites are a lot, you know, they're kind of the same. You're not having to worry about why a block, you know, like, you don't care that this block is right here or this column of blocks. You just know that, you know, the generator told you it's there. So you put it there. Well, I can easily just... Now it would be asymmetrical, and it would obviously, you know, it would make me do something about it. But I could move this column over one block and then just adjust it accordingly. Since I'm obviously relying on something that would be as symmetrical as possible in all three dimensions, you know, if I alter a block like right here, whoops. Oh God, I can't hardly move that. Yeah, so if I move this block like right here, I'm using the arrow keys, then, you know, it doesn't really look that different. I can just move it up like that, and there you go. It still looks circular. Just knowing how something is or why something is, that's usually better than just blindly following directions. It's fine if you just need a very quick thing and you're in a hurry. You know, I just need a sphere real fast. I don't need to think about it. But just bear in mind that knowing how something works is always better than just following a plan. Incidentally, that's kind of what separates a good cook from just an okay cook. An okay cook, you know, a monkey or anyone, can just follow a recipe and just put ingredients together, and then you've got whatever you get. But if you know why those ingredients work together, if you know how to make things work together, you'll get more out of it and you'll be better at it overall. So I don't want to fault anyone for using sphere generator websites and circle generator. You know, you can do that. You can. Just, it would better you to know what something goes, what goes into making that something what it is. Don't follow just anything you come across. You exercise your own intelligence, basically. Okay. It's coming along nicely. So yeah, I don't want to get anyone mad or insult anyone by saying that those things aren't very good. They're not bad. They do what they're supposed to do. But it can never substitute for actual learning. So don't rely on it like it's a crutch, is basically what I'm trying to say. And plus, there are other instances where, and these are just kind of nitpicks with the website in question, like this sphere generator one person linked. With MS Paint, you can alter pixels as you see fit. So you can easily tell where you are in the making of this arc. But with the sphere generator, you don't really have that option. You've just got a layer set. And you can get lost very easily. I was making that arc last episode. It was somewhere in there, and I got myself lost. And I was looking at a plan that I could easily modify on the fly. And the point of that was to keep myself level and on track, and I still screwed that up. And so I can't imagine how many problems you might accidentally introduce if you can't even alter the plan itself. You need to be able to have some measure of control over what you've created with a blueprint or something to that effect. You need to be able to modify it on the fly because unforeseen things happen. Your plans are not always going to be that amazing. You might end up having to change them. So it's usually a good idea to be aware of that. Another reason why I don't like things that are on websites is that you can't save it. So if you make a diameter 94, 95 sphere, you have to regenerate it if you ever close it out. There's no easy way to save it if you don't have a way to view the model, because a lot of those things are 3D models. Or you have a long series of JPEGs or PNGs that you have to manually rifle through. So yeah, I don't find that to be very useful. It can introduce a lot of error by accident. So, I don't want to poo-poo the hard work and the code that went into making those websites, because I know I could never make a website like that. I've just never bothered to learn code to get to a point like that. But just beware. So that's all I wanted to say on that matter. It's not a bad thing to use those types of things. It's just be careful. There we go. Yeah, I was right. This is going to be a resource drain. Whew. Man, it's times like these that I miss fast place from a client. Because you could run at full speed and place 2 or 3 blocks under your feet as you went. So it was great for large-scale builds and stuff. And scaffold. Oh man, that was such a good hack. The ability to place a block directly under your feet as you walked over nothing. I feel like the day that and printer, when those got patched on 2B2T about a year ago or more, I feel like that was the day 2B2T really stopped being fun. It became more of a slog to do anything. But I don't know. That obviously, fun is such a hard to define thing. Whew. Oh yeah, and obligatory, disclaimer, I have quit 2B2T, don't ask. 50 million people probably will, but no, I'm good. And on another, some semi-unrelated note, that 2B2T Japan video that Fit made. I found that video and had a good laugh because I've been studying Japanese for the last 3 or so years. And so I went on there and started shit posting. It was actually quite funny. And like a lot of those poor people, some of them were actually asking, and obviously this was written in Japanese, so I could kind of read what they were saying. They were asking why these people weren't being banned. Because a bajillion people, I swear, I think it was like 1,000 almost, went and flooded that server after Fit's video. Which in and of itself is just hilarious because it's finally, it's cathartic to be the one doing the invading instead of being the one invaded. Because of all the various people who've made this or that video on 2B2T and have resulting crowds, blah, blah, blah. You get the idea. So to finally be the people, because I recognized a lot of the faces that were there, spamming this or that dumb faction, and I couldn't help but laugh at the irony, the twist of now we get to be the bad guys. Now we get to be the shitlords who invaded their server and interrupted their peace and so on and so forth. And I relished in that. And there were people there who were very clearly unaware of what Anarchy really was. They were asking, well, why all the spam? Why are these people not being banned? I don't get it. Does anyone here speak Japanese? Help me. Give me food. Give me items. It was literally like traveling back in time to the early days of 2B2T to watch people flounder at spawn. And then there were those who had obviously never played with a hack client and finally, for the first time, were able to openly use one. And they were, crazy with power. Everybody's had that rush. Even I had that rush when I was but a humble new fag of running around at spawn in diamond gear, killing naked players, and just being a general dumbass and stuff of that nature. And that was so nostalgic. Because, I get that. I was there. I was not just physically there, but, I was mentally there in early 2012. That was genuinely amazing to just see that again for the first time. Because that was a thing that I'd never seen up till when I joined 2B2T the first time. And by 2013, 2014, that was nobody had that attitude anymore. Nobody thought or did any such thing, and the moment someone did, you knew they were new. You knew they didn't have a prayer. But to see the majority of the server population, who obviously was not an invader, to be that way, it was just wow, you people are in for a rude awakening, and I cannot wait. So I might actually go on there just to fuck around and laugh at the poor people who just don't know any better. And yeah, that was just, that was a rare opportunity. I think it's because of the language barrier. A lot of 2B2T's cultures just not infiltrated them. Because a lot of the abroad places, like Europe, who else? No, the Chinese could never make a full penetration. The Japanese never made a penetration, as far as I'm aware. So you don't have, because the East Asian and Western cultures are just so different, but you have a lot of European populations Fuse Toi and Elrich MC, how their dumbass fans came to invade 2B2T at one point or another. Well, they pick up on cultural this and that pretty readily because English is a fairly common second language over there. It's the continent of Europe is diverse, but there's a lot of exchange going on as a result. So the more closed off places like the Chinese communities and Japanese communities, and I'm sure there are a bajillion others who have yet to make themselves known, they don't readily pick up on that shit. They're a much more polite people. And so the concept of pure anarchy, it's foreign. I mean, it is as foreign to them as, as we are to life on Mars. It's just completely different. And so that complete noobishness, I hate to use that term, but they're just, everybody is just completely unaware of what true anarchy is like. I distinctly remember using the rant because a lot of people were asking, why is it so laggy? That was another really common question. Obviously, new players will notice two things. They'll notice cheating and they'll notice lag. And I just, I couldn't help but launch into the rant. I was born in the lag, molded by it. The infamous Bane posting bullshit. You merely adopted the shadows. I was born in it, molded by it. By the time I saw the light, I was already a man. So I adopted that to I couldn't speak it to them in Japanese, unfortunately. They wouldn't have gotten the reference even if I did. But I couldn't help but notice, that was the problem. I was born in the lag, molded by it. By the time I saw stable TPS, I was already an old fag. And it's just I couldn't help but know that was the truth. And so many of these poor people have no idea. They're just so clueless. It's just pathetically hilarious. And many of them will get it. That's the thing. Don't confuse cluelessness with ineptitude. They just don't know. But I guarantee you a Pop Bob or a... Who else was a really prominent shit-posting troll? DSG 3000, Chris Layton, so many other... I guarantee you someone among their community will emerge and fulfill that niche. Because, that's 2B2T in a nutshell. I really genuinely hope that 2B2T Japan can kind of take off. Because... I don't know if any of you know this, but how 4chan culture influenced and created 2B2T to how it is? Well, 4chan was in turn created initially by 2channel, which was originally a Japanese image board that quickly amassed a reputation for being an absolute shithole. So it's kind of funny that 2B2T, which was a massive shithole, started from 4chan, which started from 2channel, which was a Japanese shithole, and so now it's come full circle back to Minecraft, and you've got a completely brand new generation of people who have no idea what Minecraft has really been. And it's just funny how it all comes full circle, you live long enough to see yourself become the bad guy, or you die young. Well, I think we've hit that long enough to become the bad guy part. And as evidenced by the fact that we raided the shit out of that poor server. And I apologize for nothing. Catch y'all later.